The story so far. Virons are a virus spreading through time. Their purpose is to bring about chaos and darkness by destroying history as we know it. Mortlock, the Time Guardian, has one last hope of defeating the Virons, the Time Web. Can the children go back in time, recover the parts of the Time Web, and return safely? Or will the mission be too difficult and dangerous? The parts of the Time Web. The Time Web is an ancient machine. It acts like an eye looking into the past. See, it has 4 parts: the hub, the matrix, the cell, and the box is the case which connects it all together. Theodore Mortlock, Time Guardian. Chapter 1. Biff and Chip waited anxiously in the circularium. Chip kept looking at the doors through which the others had vanished only moments earlier. Biff stared at the hourglass. She watched the last few specks of light flowing down. Would everyone return safely? She held her breath. Mortlock had not moved, but as the last specks of light slipped into the lower part of the hourglass, he let out a deep sigh. From beneath them came a deep rumbling sound, as if a heavy machine was working. The circularium began to spin. Once again, the doors seemed to merge into one. Then Wilf appeared. He was holding a small but highly intricate machine made of polished metal. It had tiny gold wheels and cogs, springs and coils of silver wire, and parts made of glass and crystal. In the very center was a large sapphire of the deepest blue. Wilf smiled broadly. "I've got the hub," he said excitedly. "The Time Web's hard drive." Next to appear was Nina. She was holding a metal tray. It was like a keyboard with strange and beautiful symbols. Nina held it carefully, as if afraid to drop it.
"The Matrix," she said. "I had a scary time bringing it back."
The circularium spun again. Wilma and Nadim were flung out of it. "Virons were after us," panted Nadim. "We just got away in time." Wilma held a large lump of dark metal. It was the cell. The rumbling under the floor stopped. The 3 open doors round the edge of the room closed gently. The circularium had shut down. All was so quiet, the children could almost hear the dust settling. Then Biff broke the silence. Her voice rose in panic.
Where's Kipper?"
she shouted.
"Why hasn't he come back?"
Chapter 2. Nadim looked startled. He spun round, expecting Kipper to be behind him. "Things got tricky," he said. "We were running away from the Viron."
"Kipper ran back,"
gasped Wilma.
"He ran back to help that boy called Tyler. I'm sorry. I should have stopped him."
Chip turned to Mortlock. "We must rescue Kipper," he said urgently. "How do we go back to find him?" Mortlock frowned. "The circularium has stopped. We'll try using the Time Web." He laid the box on the floor and opened the lid. Then he took the hub from Wilf. It slid perfectly into place. He put the matrix some distance from it. "Now, Wilma," he said, "put the cell in the lid of the box. It will power the Time Web up. The sapphire will glow. Then a web of light will form above it." Wilma did as Mortlock asked, but nothing happened. Mortlock tapped some symbols on the matrix, but still the jewel did not glow. It's not working, said Nadim. Chapter 3.
Why isn't it working?
Shouted Biff.
Kipper's in danger. What if he can't get back? What if the Virens have got him?
At that moment, one of the doors in the circularium began to open.
Is it Kipper?
Asked Nina. But it wasn't Kipper. It was Floppy. He had found his way down from the library. When Floppy saw the children, he rushed towards them. "Floppy!" shouted Wilf. In his excitement, Floppy crashed into the hourglass, toppling it over. Then he leapt up at Chip with his tail wagging. Mortlock dived toward the hourglass and grabbed it just before it hit the floor. As it fell, a few specks of light flowed upwards. As Mortlock set it upright, the bright specks began to trickle down again. A rumbling came from below the floor. The circularium had begun to work once more. Chapter 4. Kipper appeared, but he was not alone.
Kipper!
Shouted Biff.
And Tyler!
Exclaimed Wilma.
How did you escape? I was sure that Byron was going to get you.
Tyler gave a cheeky grin.
It was thanks to Kipper,
He said.
I rammed my wheelchair into the Viren. As the Viren jumped aside, he got too close to a printing press. So Kipper pulled this lever and trapped his coattail.
Then the door appeared.
Said Kipper.
So here we are.
Floppy woofed and ran to greet Kipper.
When the hourglass fell over, the circularium worked again,
said Mortlock.
A good job, too.
Said Wilma.
Or Kipper and Tyler might still be in the clutches of those Virens. But the circularium seems to have a mind of its own. I don't get it.
Sniffed Mortlock.
It's an ancient time travel machine and not reliable. But now we have the Time Web. It will detect the past precisely, and you can travel to an exact time in history quite safely.
The Time Web was still on the floor where Mortlock had set it up. Tyler looked at it.
Is this the Time Web?
He asked.
It ain't very big.
It doesn't work, said Nadine, even though it's connected up.
Hang on,
said Tyler.
Has the box got a keyhole? Maybe it needs a key.
Mortlock slapped his forehead.
What a fool I am,
he said.
Biff and Chip have the key. They've been keeping it.
Everyone looked at Biff.
Oh no,
she said.
It's in my sock drawer back at home. We could go home and get it,
said Kipper.
We don't live far away.
We're inside a fold in time,
said Mortlock.
Getting out is quite easy, but getting back again will be difficult.
But if we need the key, said Chip. Suddenly the hourglass began to move by itself. It turned once, then it turned again. The grains of light began to flow upwards. Once more, a rumbling began beneath the floor of the circularium. What's going on? Gasped Chip.
This is most unusual,
said Mortlock.
The circularium is sending somebody out again. It must be you, Biff and Chip. It wants you to get the key.
But why is the hourglass working upside down?
Asked Biff.
You will be sent forward in time, into the future. So you must not be seen, not by anyone. Remember, do not be seen.
The circularium began to spin. Then all went quiet. This time, Biff and Chip had vanished. Chapter 5. Biff and Chip were standing in their own back garden. It was dark, but every light in the house was blazing. The back door opened. Dad came out and went to the bottom of the garden. Biff and Chip ducked behind the shed. Dad had a party hat on, and he was carrying a large firework.
Only 3 minutes to go,
called Dad, going back inside. I bet it's New Year's Eve, said Chip. Dad will let that firework off just after midnight, so we must get the key before he comes back. Suddenly, Mum came to the window. Biff and Chip gasped. Through the window they saw themselves. Kipper was there, and so were Wilf and Wilma and their mum and dad. They were all wearing party hats. Weird, gasped Chip. It's like seeing a film with us in it. No wonder Mortlock told us not to let anyone see us.
Stay here,
said Biff.
I'll get the key. Now is the best time.
She ran across the lawn and crept into the house. Chip closed his eyes. He heard voices calling. Happy New Year! Hurry up, Biff, he whispered. What's taking you so long? Chip waited, but Biff didn't appear. Dad came down the garden again. Chip crouched behind the shed. Dad lit the firework and ran back to the house. Whoosh! The firework lit up the sky. In seconds, it was all over. Then Biff appeared at the top of the fence and dropped down beside him. I was getting worried, hissed Chip.
I got the key, but I almost bumped into Mom. I went out the front and ran down next door's garden. No one saw me,
said Biff. A blue door appeared in the fence. At that moment, Dad rushed down the garden with a bucket of water. His firework had set the shed on fire. But luckily, Biff and Chip had vanished. Chapter 6. Biff and Chip returned safely with the key. Mortlock took everyone to a bright, welcoming room where there was a table laden with food. Time to eat, said Mortlock. Pizzas, samosas, lamb kebabs, salads, crusty bread. Can I offer you milk or fruit juice? Tyler ate as if he was starving.
I've never had such a feast before,
he said. He gave Mortlock a sideways look.
What sort of place is this?
He asked. Mortlock explained that they were in a place that exists outside normal time.
I don't get it,
mumbled Tyler, with his mouth full of bread. They spoke about the Virons, and Wilma told them that the ones they had met seemed like ordinary people. No, they were scary, shuddered Wilf. They made everything cold and dark. Ah, Mortlock said. They don't always give off coldness or darkness. They can appear to be quite normal, but they are not humans. Their aim is to bring about chaos.
But why do they explode?
Asked Kipper. They are made of dark energy. It's like electricity, but they must be stopped. Their energy must be captured.
Yeah, but it's great watching them go bang,
grinned Tyler. Come on, said Mortlock, jumping to his feet. Now we have the key. The time web will work. We'll set it up in the library. Mortlock connected the parts of the time web together, and Biff put the key in the lock and turned it. The blue sapphire in the center of the hub glowed. Then light began to grow out of it. It rose up like a beautiful tree with millions of fine, delicate branches. Mortlock let out a sigh. The time web, he said. Now our work must begin. Now what? The time web is set up and running. So now what? What does Mortlock mean when he says, "Now our work must begin"? Biff and Chip had to be careful not to be seen when they went forward in time. Why? A boy from the past has joined them. Why has he come? And what does Tyler think about the Time Vault and his new friends? Are the children looking forward to fighting the Virons, or does the thought of it scare them? What missions will the Time Web find? How many Viron attacks will it reveal? And how will Mortlock train the children to deal with them? Grab the next series of Time Chronicles and find out. There isn't much time, so hurry! Top Secret. Virons. What is a Viron? Pure dark energy. Aims: to destroy all that is good throughout history, and so create a future of darkness. Skills: they turn themselves into human form to live among people. Weapons: Dark Cloud. Virons create darkness to hide in, or to confuse others. Coldness. Virons draw energy, especially from light. In its place, they leave an icy chill that saps all who feel it. Viron Mind Stare. Victims muddle their speech and become confused or forgetful. Weaknesses: giving off coldness or darkness when annoyed or disturbed. Can a Viron be stopped? In its raw state, Viron energy can never be destroyed, but it can be trapped and contained. A fold in time. Imagine time as a long piece of tape. At one end is now, and at the other end is sometime in the future. Imagine the same piece of tape has a fold in it. The tape still runs from now until tomorrow. But what would happen if you went into the fold? Time inside it would pass in a different way from real time. You would come out of the fold at almost the exact place that you went in. Within the fold, an hour, a week, or even a month could have passed. But outside it, real time may only have moved on a few seconds.